Sleep is good, books are better.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hello to the 5:30 panel in the World of the Wheel chat room. Yes. My name is Shannon, and today we are going to be sorting into the Harry Potter houses some of our favorite characters to hate in the Wheel of Time, or love if you're on that side of our event this year. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just do a quick overview of how our sorting panels work and why, and then we'll do introductions, including Tom, who's on his way right now. And then we'll take a quick vote. So how this works for a sorting panel is we have kind of a standardized approach, in part because there's an effort to consolidate all of these panels and results into a large codex so that we can have kind of an inventory on everybody that we've done in the past. And that's not just who JordanCon has done, but there's a conjuration also in Atlanta in November called Convention. There's a convention called Conjuration in Atlanta and around November, and they have a ton of sorting panels and have done everything from Disney princesses to Disney villains to a Broadway characters one that I got to lead last year, which was really fun. So if you'd like to talk about Broadway characters after this, I'm down. But so what we do is we'll quickly at the beginning take a kind of just show of hands vote very fast on which characters you're most interested in sorting, to make sure that we're spending the time on the characters that you're most interested in. And then one by one we will have some discussion and kind of input from the panel, but also take your inputs, and then we'll take a vote. If it's a real close call, we might narrow it down and take a revote, but that vote will be basically the what we record from this session. And this slide will be shared on the Facebook page later today, maybe tomorrow, but probably today, so that we can hear from all the people that weren't in the room tell us that we were wrong. But that's okay. All right, so now we'll do introductions, and then we'll start with the process. So again, my name is Shannon Lieb. I'm the Officer of Communications for JordanCon, so that if you run an opening ceremonies, that includes everything from on-site publications like signs and the app and photography and video, to outreach communications, which is the website, the newsletter, the everything, social media, etc. And so, and as I said earlier today, we have some openings coming up this year. So if you'd like to learn more, let me know. I'm qualified to be on this. I'm a Wheel of Time fan and a Harry Potter fan, and I'm representing Ravenclaw.
Oh boy, I don't know that I've been sorted into a house.
Oh well, yes, you think quick.
I don't know. Maybe I'll let people who know me pick.
According to Sarah, on your Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
No. Oh,
Slytherin.
Oh, you Slytherin?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, well.
But in any case, I'm Patrick Kyler of the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. I'm just happy to be here on our very first JordanCon guest spot.
Yeah. This is our first panel, so we're very, very excited.
Welcome.
Hey guys.
Thank you.
I'm Seth Jacobson. I've been doing the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast for 2 years with Patrick, and we talk a lot about the Wheel of Time. Some of you have probably heard us. I know some of you have. And right now I'm a Gleeman, so I get to tell tales. So I'm really excited about that. That's all I got.
Excellent. Have you been sorted?
Apparently I'm Ravenclaw. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very Ravenclaw.
Okay, excellent. That bodes well. Ravenclaws do well on these types of panels because we're not influenced. We don't want to recruit. We want to take the academic approach and
Absolutely.
be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick show of hands. I'm just going to mark, kind of the rough percentage of people that vote for each of the characters. Oh, it's going to Okay.
The first one, Ingtar?
Yeah, HR.
Ingtar. Man, he's a good one.
So just going down the list, we've got Ingtar, Asmodean, Varen, Samuel, Paddington, Agenor, Green Vimar, which is red. He's in New Spring. I don't know how to say his name though. So
Ryan. Sorry.
Mogedian, Millie Skane, and Mohandra.
I'm rebooting.
And then what was the other? We sent another list. We also added Slayer, Jacob Carradine, Miramond, Shiriam, Alviaran, Asmodean, Demandrid, Mazrim Tame, Baron, and Shaitan. So
I'm excited about that one.
there's a couple different options there, but obviously we're not going to get to all of those.
Okay, so if you want to vote for including or starting with whatever, you can spread your votes however you want. You don't have to vote for just one. What's your level of interest on Aintar?
Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Asmodean.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
Okay. Baron.
Oh, yeah.
Samael. I'm just being funny. Samael. Padden Fane.
Yeah.
Agenor. You guys, that's my favorite.
You got my vote.
Shiriam.
Yeah.
Fours.
Yes.
White
And
one.
Carradine.
We'll go Gores. Which one's it?
Slayer.
Yeah, that one's
Yes.
That's the greatest.
Taim.
Yes.
I'm going to call
Yes.
that 40%.
Do we give Slayer 2?
Was he on here twice?
No,
it's too.
Luke and Esau. They just go.
Oh, yeah, that we can do that. We did that. Yeah, I'll put it 50. We'll see.
We could split that into 3.
Rhyme. That's how I say it.
That's maybe overtime.
No? Okay.
That's a big one.
Maybe we'll just say
Just give me 2. Yeah.
that's fine. Mogedian.
Oh, there it is.
Sorry. I'm sorry I'm late, but when Dan DeSanto says, I want to draw you, you go. Yeah. He's doing the charity art jam right now, and he's like, "Can you go put your pauldron on? I kind of want to draw you for that." I'm like, yeah, I'll totally do that. No problem, Dan DeSantos." So that's where I went.
Mogedian.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Millie Skane.
I don't even remember. Yeah.
Is she the one who
I was wondering if people would remember.
Yes.
He shows up a couple times.
Dagger.
Yeah.
She also
Yes.
she kills Jacob Carradine with the wine barrel.
Right. All right.
Brutal.
And Melindra. I know, right? Okay. All right, if you want to introduce.
Real fast, Tom DeSimone. I do guest services and lots of stuff, and I was Dark Parent, and Dan is going to draw me, and it's amazing.
And your shirt.
What house are you?
Slytherin, and you know, and I don't want to say that I would just be a straight Death Eater because I don't approve of the Dark Lord's the way he ran things, because he couldn't kill a 14-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 1-year-old. So I think I would just reform and do things a little bit better and more silently. Just saying.
You should be able to hit a sword thing at the top.
Yeah.
You notice the Slytherins are sitting in the middle.
Oh, Slytherin too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I let my
Just
people who know me sort me.
Okay, so we'll take these in the order that there was the most interest in. I think Baron was the clear winner. Do you have do you believe that you know where you would sort Baron? Would you like to kick it off?
Hufflepuff.
Loyalty. I agree.
100%.
So all right. So Hufflepuff, she is fiercely loyal to the people. So I usually argue that Slytherin are also fiercely loyal, but they're loyal to the people they choose. They're not loyal to everybody. Varen is loyal to the light. Blanket the light. Now she went over originally to the shadow as like I kind of want to see what's going on here. Someone approached me, and I'm I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do that, or at least that's what I got from her explanation to Egwene why she did it when she was on her deathbed. It was more like someone approached me. I wasn't trying, but like okay. And then when she went into it, it was more like from the beginning, I'm gonna take this down from the inside. I'm gonna get as much information as I can from the inside and give it to the light. Because when she took her oaths, she knew that she was gonna have the opportunity to blab on everything in the hour of her death. So. But she's loyal to the light, regardless of anyone who's in it, of what's happening in it. She just wants to take down the shadow. So, and she's the fluffiest person like ever. So I would definitely say Hufflepuff.
I think that going behind enemy lines as a test of loyalty is like the number one test, and she passed it with flying colors. Yeah. So like that is absolutely loyalty. Yeah. Now there's some bravery there, but I always felt like she ended up in the Black Oddjaw to save her life, and so that to me is not like bravery thing.
She's not dumb. She knew when they approached her, if she turned it down, she was dead. Yeah.
So she just joined not out of bravery, not really to further her own ambition, like someone like Shuriam, but just because she's loyal and wanted to betray the Black.
You don't think that? See.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Go ahead, Heidi.
I mean, I would say the reason she got the offer is because she was seeking knowledge. She was asking questions, and she asked a couple questions too far, and it was basically join or die. And what she says is, well, hey, while I'm here, I'm going to get as much knowledge as I can. So she's loyal to the light. She's definitely, good all the way,
But she's not gaining that knowledge for knowledge's sake. She's gaining it for a purpose.
Yeah.
But it's for her life's work. I mean, throughout the whole series, though, it's always like, oh, let me go look at this. Let me study this. Let me do
One
this.
second.
It's not knowledge to be used as a weapon just for that, but for her whole life, it's knowledge just for knowledge.
I 100% agree. Well, it's not knowledge just for knowledge for no reason. She did it for her life's work, but her life's work once she got into it, it was to take down the shadow. Right. That was that. So, are you going for Ravenclaw?
That's kind of
okay.
Yeah.
So, my push with Ravenclaw, and argue with me, please, is. The Ravenclaws, which are like a lot of Browns are, they seek knowledge for absolutely no reason whatsoever, just to have the knowledge. Where it's like they're not looking for a practical application for it, or even like, or in her case, like to take down the shadow, like a real world morality application for it. It's just I want to learn a new thing for no reason whatsoever. That's more Ravenclaw to me, at least. And we had. And there was someone over here and then someone over there.
So
blue shirt. Right.
Whenever I think of Brown, I automatically think of Ravenclaw. So, but I always consider Ravenclaw until just now. But I see a lot of parallels with her and Moraine because they're both out in the world, and maybe she would have been a Ravenclaw until she joined the Black.
Yeah.
And which pushed her into a different thing. So maybe it went from purely academic to like, oh crap, now I gotta help save the world because I know so much more. So I think I agree completely with the Hufflepuff because to put your life on the line every day and to report back, maybe some variations of truth that don't really represent the truth every day until the hour of your death.
Yeah,
that's extreme loyalty to the light.
100%. Valerie had her hand up
I was
first.
going to say, so they caught her trying to get knowledge. So she got kind of stuck while she was trying to. Her ambition, in other words, was to find out things and figure out what's going on. She got caught. She got mad at them. I'd be mad if they caught me while I was trying to figure things out. I would argue that Baron Mathwood is an amazing Slytherin because she fights all this stuff. She's like, all right, you caught me. I'm going to get you guys back in the end. I'm still going to learn all these things, and the joke's going to be on you, Dark One. Ha ha ha! And I'm still going to save the day and win. So she does all this, and there wasn't there a point where she was going to kill Nynaeve or someone when they're like she was like ready to kill someone.
Yeah.
And then they were like, it was Catherine, sorry. And it's really she was on her side. She's like, oh cool, I don't have to kill you. Like she wasn't this light magical fairy wouldn't do anything dark person. She loved it. She had.
Well, okay, all right.
Would you call that ambition though? Because my first instinct with Varen was that I wanted to call her Gryffindor because how courageous of her to follow through and do this. But I'm now leaning heavily towards Hufflepuff. You guys have made a really good argument.
Okay.
I'll leave it there.
There's a lot. Matt, and then you, and then over here.
want to double down on Slytherin. Only because you have to be willing in this job as Black Aja to kill.
Yeah.
And not necessarily because you have a good reason to. And you have to do it not like with trepidation.
Yeah.
You can't do it with like just tough work, like I'm a hardworking, loyal people, I guess I'll kill him. No, they want to know that you're going to do it well. She rose and stayed for a very long time because she sold. Whether or not she, you want to say,
oh, she did horrible things.
She did horrible, but that takes.
She says that, yeah.
But to do the things they ask you to do, take cunning, right? Like she has to stay hidden. She can't be found out. The loyalty always had to be subject to her cunning. She had to appear ambitious. She had to appear cunning, whether or not she was loyal. But in the end, they had to believe it. So whether or not she sold herself as Slytherin, but she was actually Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw, but she definitely, in my opinion, sold Slytherin as she made a good Slytherin, whether or not underneath
she was.
All right, I'm tilting. Back here and then back there with the beard.
So my thought on this is simply, I think there are a lot of great cases to be made on all of the different houses, but the fundamental thing when you're not sure what house you should be in, the sorting hat lets you pick.
Yep.
And I think that if you were to ask Varen herself, I think she would say that she's a Ravenclaw in search of knowledge.
Really?
Yeah. In terms of what she saw her life mission as, that's what I
Say the thing about we'll take them all.
Yeah. So the houses were very much I want the brave, Gryffindor was I want the brave people. Slytherin was I want the cunning and ambitious people, and Ravenclaw was like I want the people seeking knowledge. I want the intelligent people, and Helga Hufflepuff was like, you know what? Cool, you take all those people. I'll take everybody else. I feel like that's a very Varen thing. I feel like Varen would be Helga Hufflepuff. Mm-hmm. Like even in physical appearance, like when you see them, they look like the same person. I feel like that would be Varen. Varen would be like, you want all those specific people, and you don't want these other people? Okay, all right, I'll take them. I'll find value in all of those people, and use all of those people. Yeah.
I think I like that the best. That answer the best because she has been really difficult to sort, and we can attribute a lot of different characteristics.
Yeah. All right, we'll do two more. But you right there with the glasses and phenomenal beard.
So the difference between between Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, I think, is kind of gets at the difference between intelligence and knowledge, and that's kind of also the difference between the Whites and the Browns. Is the Browns aren't necessarily intelligent, but they are loyal to truth and seeking truth rather than just pure intelligence and pure logic.
Yeah.
Which I would say that's more of a Ravenclaw aspect.
Okay.
And so that's why I would put more Hufflepuff rather than Ravenclaw, because she was more into truth and knowledge rather than intelligence and logic.
Okay. Right next to you. No, it was right next to.
I'm going to argue Slytherin, actually, because when she was working with the Wise Ones, she used compulsion, which she didn't have to. She was not under orders by the Black Aja to use compulsion.
For when she was with the Wise Ones?
When she was taking care of the prisoners and interrogating them,
she needed it.
She does not have to.
No.
Not a Hufflepuff trait.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Well, no, she did that to support Rand, and the loyalty towards Rand
was I'll do anything.
It's damaging to other groups of people that aren't out to harm Rand. They just aren't spreading legions.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll do one more real quick. But you in the back had your hand up the longest, and then because we could argue Varen for the whole panel, but we got more characters. One more real quick.
I think I would also go more on the Ravenclaw than the Hufflepuff, especially because you make the argument about how the Hufflepuff wanting to find value in all students. That she felt like all students deserve to be taught and deserve that attention, but Varen didn't really teach.
She taught the people that needed to be taught.
But not everyone. Hufflepuff felt everyone deserved to be taught, freedom of information, that kind of perspective that every student deserves the chance for that knowledge. And
they're not the same person, yes.
Right, but Varen played things very close to the chest, and she ended up in the Black Aja specifically because she was studying something that other people weren't studying and didn't think should be studied. It's been very much that seeing if you can, not if you should type of thing.
So studying something that not a lot of people study and really dedicating to yourself to it, kind of like, I don't know, someone named Newt Scamander who was in Hufflepuff. Just saying. We'll do a vote. We got to do a vote on Varen because we could probably argue Varen for the entire panel.
We can come back maybe at the end.
Yeah, if we have time at the end once we get through a couple of them.
Yeah.
So, Varen for Gryffindor. Nobody, right? Okay. Varen for Ravenclaw. Really? Just one after all that? All right, two. And then Varen for Slytherin.
Oh, wow.
You guys almost sold me.
That's close.
You guys almost sold me. But all right, so and then Varen for Hufflepuff.
I'm gonna go. So that might be half and half.
It's pretty close.
7, 8, 9. Tie.
It's a tie? Oh, wow. Okay, so hat stall. She's a hat stall.
I missed the right side. I'm the right. Sorry.
Okay, we'll do it again.
Okay, we'll do it one more
Now that
time.
we know it's a tie.
Okay. All right. So we're down to Slytherin and Hufflepuff. So everyone cast a vote.
Sorry.
Slytherin.
All right.
So we'll do Slytherin. No, not me.
Slytherin?
I am Slytherin. Yeah, this is for Slytherin.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It's just when anyone says Slytherin, I want to raise my hand. Hufflepuff.
So I forget this one over here in the corner.
12, 13.
Hufflepuff?
13, yes.
Okay, she's Hufflepuff. Awesome.
Did you vote Shannon?
I did not
Hotly
vote.
contested.
I would have leaned Huffle.
She's Hufflepuff.
All right. Next with the most votes is Pannel Fane.
Oh my god. So, all right. So, real quick, we sorted characters at another convention called Conjuration, and we did DC characters, and we did the Joker, and we just said the hat would have a drinking problem afterwards. I feel like I'm having a similar idea for this.
I wanted to. This is a relevant question for Pat and Fane. Do we sort
Separate
him
them?
Pat and Fane as Pat and Fane pre-Mashadar?
We could do that.
And then we've got Mordeth as well.
And then we got more. So we have there's
evolves.
3 Pat and Fanes. We have Pat and Fane, then Pat and Fane altered by the Dark One, weird crap, and Shaugul, and then Pat and Fane altered by the Dark One, Mordeth.
Fane slash, and then Pat and Fane slash.
Still, right? He went through it, the Dark One thing twice.
Yeah, and then he went to Mordeth. So there's 3 Pat and Fanes.
Yeah.
But let's what do you want to do? What do you guys want to do?
End or beginning? I think is the easiest way to.
So start at the beginning and the end.
And is more. Well, yeah, we can begin.
Let's do Pat and Fane before anything happens.
So Pat and Fane, generic Dark One, generic Dark Friend. You have a thought?
Well, so we never get to see much of Pat and Fane like before them. We have like half a book, and
That's a good point.
he's mentioned in like 2 chapters. But I feel like he's a lot of a Slytherin, just because being a dark friend is a very Slytherin trait in itself. Excluding most Black Ashes, well, not most, but some of the Black Ashes who were forced to.
Yeah.
But just, being like, oh, you know what? I think that if I join the Great Lord, I'll become better. That's very Slytherin.
Ambition is usually what drives most Dark Friends, yes, and that is usually a trait associated with most Slytherin. But think about it like this too. One of the most ambitious, Hog, like looking for the spotlight person character in Harry Potter is Cedric Diggory, and he's a Hufflepuff. So that's not a I don't want to. I don't like always strictly pushing them into those boxes. But you do. That is a Slytherin thing. Is self perpetuation, trying to better get things for yourself at the especially at the expense of other people. Like you don't care about that. That is a Slytherin trait, especially with. They won't do that with the people. My argument is always with the Slytherins is they choose their people. They're fiercely loyal to the people they choose, and they won't screw them over. But if other people that they deem either unworthy or they don't care about, they don't care. So, was there someone in the front and then in the back, or just? All right, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say that Pat and Fane as a dark friend, though, was I believe it's mentioned at some point in the books that he was selecting he was already a dark friend, but he was selected because of his peddling route.
Yeah.
And he had no ambition to be all that. He just wanted to be protected.
Yeah.
And just didn't feel like he's a bad guy, obviously, but he didn't have that ambition drive that I think fuels most of the other dark friends.
Yeah.
Because he was basically got told by Murdrall, by the way, we need you here.
Yeah.
And then he had his task, and he actually hated it. If you remember in the Eye of the World, where he's pleading to Rand, like, oh, well, now I have to follow you guys everywhere you go, and he's basically running himself ragged because of, his orders. And that, granted, that's the second iteration of, if you want to go with that. But the first iteration was just a dude who wanted to drink in bars and not be killed by the Shadow.
So, Gryffindor?
Do we know anything about why Patton Fane originally made his choice? I don't know that we know.
No, we don't really.
I would assume
they talk about Patton Fane. We'll go back, someone in the back, and then over here, and then up in the front. They talk about Patton Fane, like him coming to the Two Rivers for a long time, but they never really. They say he changed.
Yeah.
When he comes back in the first
after the distilling.
So they notice a change in him. So.
But the change is because of
because of the distilling. So
they even said he was a showman. Like he always drug out stuff,
and he was always happy and outgoing. So
he loves the attention. He loves being people paying attention to him,
which is a little Slytherin.
Yeah, for the most part, Slytherins. I would always argue Slytherins don't want the spotlight. You know who wants the spotlight all the time? Gryffindors. Yeah, Slytherins are perfectly happy with never getting recognized whatsoever, but having all of the power. That the Slytherin is much more the man behind the curtain pulling the strings, and the person that wants to be out in the spotlight is. My argument is Gryffindor for generic dark friend, Patton friend. Just want to put that out there.
I definitely see your argument about Gryffindor, but he is such a coward. Like, he is such a coward. Like, he is actually in danger, and like he doesn't want to be in this position, even though there's a lot of advantage to it. But so like I feel like there's problems with both characters come as Slytherin and as Gryffindor. Because he is a coward, but he also chooses to be the big fish in a small pond. Which you could argue Slytherin, but you could also argue is not ambitious enough. But at least if we get like further, then get into audience and stuff.
Well, so like. He wants to be the big fish in the little pond, and he wants, but he's secretly a coward. But he wants all the spotlight. Someone like Peter Pettigrew, who was a Gryffindor, or who was I just thinking of? All right, come over here real quick. I'll remember in a second, and I'll shout it out.
I'd also like to know that as a dark friend, when the dark one is saying, you know what, dude, so I'm going to kill you. I feel like most people are going to be cowards. If someone walked up to you and told you, someone actually could kill you if you didn't do this. Who's going to say yes and who's going to say no? Because,
I just remembered. And it just went away again. Ron, I don't want to say Ron's a coward, but he's not put me out in the front lines, until push comes to shove. But then there's, Neville. Neville is, he doesn't want the spotlight at all, and when push comes to shove, he does step up, but he's a coward. Like, he's a coward all throughout the beginning of the series, and he says it to himself, and he shies away from everything. He only steps up when it's literally the last option, like when it's I have to do this, or whatever I don't want's going to happen is going to happen. Then he does it. But he's a coward. I would say he's, for the most part, a coward.
I was going to say, if you look at him, to me, he originally is more sly than anything else. He's a peddler. They describe him as he makes friends with some people. He's close without being too close. He's definitely not in intelligence. He can care less. He's definitely not loyal because he's just an ends to a mean. He's definitely not brave. So I think by default, he ends up with some qualities of Slytherin in there. But he's not a perfect Slytherin. No. He's not that ambitious, but he's more sly. He's more protective of himself. He's out for him.
He's a survivor.
I honestly
One more,
think
and that's it.
Patton Fane the peddler is just a muggle.
A squib or a muggle? Fair enough. Okay. So he's no votes for Ravenclaw, right? Obviously. Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff. Okay, one Hufflepuff.
The rest.
Gryffindor. I'm still voting.
No.
And then Slytherin.
That's hard, but I'm going with it. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then, all right, so then endgame Padden Fane. Spoiler alert, Padden Fane survives to the end and he's a horrible person. So if anyone hasn't read the series, sorry. Oh, what's that?
So I'd say endgame is Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw?
Mordeth is such a dominant portion of his personality, and Mordeth, to me, because what I'm saying is Mordeth is Ravenclaw. So Mordeth from maybe a Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff mix. I mean, or maybe it's Gryffindor. But anyways, Mordeth has that kind of. He went out looking for solutions to problems. He's a clever dude, and he brought back this like power he found because he was going to go solve this problem. He went out and kind of did his own thing to. I don't know. To me,
that argument is perfect for Slytherin for me. So like everything that you just said. So. And please jump in. I'll just keep talking if you let me. Ravenclaw are again knowledge for knowledge's sake, for no reason other than I want to learn this new thing. Where he has a goal in mind.
True.
He has a practical application that what he wants to do, and he's solely doing it for himself. He doesn't care about anybody. He doesn't care who he steps on. He didn't choose anybody. He is an entity who. If he was a Slytherin, he chose nobody as his people, and he's just solely out for himself. Is he really smart? Yeah, because he did what he did to make himself who he was in Shadow Logoth, whatever it was, but he had a reason to do that. It wasn't like, I just want to do this to see if I can for no reason, you know?
Sure, he definitely had a reason.
Yeah.
Kind of the embodiment of the idea that the only way to win the battle against the Shadow is to be worse
than them, yeah.
I'm not sure what that is. That courageous to do something horrible to save humanity?
Okay, did he do that purpose? Like, was he trying to defeat the Shadow, or was he trying to replace the Shadow?
No, he's trying to defeat it.
I think the replacement was an accident.
That's something I always want to see.
Side effect.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah.
I would say, that Mordeth is a Gryffindor. Weird, twisted, like Peter Pettigrew was also a Gryffindor. They're not all good people.
No.
Right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, he's going after the Dark One, and then he wants some vengeance. And I'm just saying, he's out there. He's recruiting whoever he can get. He's getting the Dark Trollocs. He's going to those cities, getting the Red Veil.
He's very manipulative.
He's getting everybody
cunning.
On his side. But he's not. He's like a blunt instrument.
Oh, but
he's going out there because he's so powerful.
All right, he does nail.
He doesn't need to be sly.
He does nail a Myrtle to the wall. Literally.
Yeah, he's just going out getting all this big, huge army because he's just going to crush everybody. He just wants to kill everybody. Okay. I mean, if he's going out there and fighting, that's not Slytherin.
Yeah,
that's
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll vote real quick so we can keep going through.
Yep.
What is he not? No. Hufflepuff. Nobody. Ravenclaw.
Switch.
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
For Mashadar.
For Mashadar. This is Mashadar thing. And then Slytherin.
Fairly even.
Slytherin. We get another one.
Thank you.
All right, Ingtar.
Oh my god! I'm gonna cry now. It's my favorite scene in the entire series.
I tear up a little every time.
I mean, bravery, right? Standing up in front of in a hallway for your death to save the world. Like, is there anything? I mean, yes, it's loyal, but he clearly has been switched sides a couple of times, and I
want to say Gryffindor 100% for him.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, I mean, he even goes to the Shadow because he's so like. When he reveals, he's like, I was.
Exactly what I was.
Yeah, you do it because I talk a lot.
If
you let me do, I'll keep
going. The Shadow is because he believes it's the only hope to save his people.
Yeah.
So he's going to go do a kind of similar argument that I made for Mashadar.
Yeah.
He's going to go do this horrible thing, which it tears him up inside. He doesn't want to do this.
It's more like he's
He just
sacrificing
thinks it's the only option. Yeah, which is courageous to throw yourself into a pit
and
to
stupid.
save everyone else. Well,
I'm not going to say that that's a Gryffindor trait or anything, but
I mean, that argument also is perfectly well for Hufflepuff because, a true Hufflepuff will throw away everything they want or even maybe need for, someone that they really, really love. And I think for Ingtar, it wasn't someone, it was a place, it was his home, right? There, I think. And so he was very loyal to Valdara, and so that is mainly that is the only reason why he did all these horrible things. And that's also why he used the sword in Fall, because he is trying to help Rand save Valdara.
We're on the panel.
she was on one of our sorting panels last year. She was on one of our sorting panels last year.
I'm just, you can want my seat.
Over here.
So I would argue Gryffindor mainly not because of what you guys already pointed out, but I mean it kind of falls in line with anybody from the Borderlands, which is the bravery to go to Tarwin's Gap, to go to the battlefield on a regular basis, be prepared.
They're very much the frontline soldiers.
They are always there, so you have to be brave. It's like ingrained in you. And while, I guess the argument that I make for any Gryffindor is the same one you made for Neville. When it's time to step up, you do it out of your bravery, and that's what Ingtar does. Because while he could have been, because I have always argued in my brain whenever I read the series that Ingtar never fought the Murdral that was confronting Rand in Fall Dawn. My argument is, in my brain has been that he kind of looked at him, the Murdral knows who he is, and the Murdral backed off, and they never fought.
Your dark friend.
Agreed.
Well, he knows he's dark. So I'm saying that Ingtar doesn't have to fight in certain scenarios, but he chooses to go to the border and chooses to fight, Shadow Spawn and stuff, despite being a dark friend, just to keep his cover, which is cunning and could be argued for Slytherin. But the main point is that he has that courage moment that is far outweighs everything. The whole point of sorting has that sees into what your potential is, and that's what.
I mean, he works with the dark, but he hates the dark. He's not happy,
which is why he does. Yeah, that's why.
That's why I'm solid. Yeah, me too. So, to touch back on the Hufflepuff thing is more the Hufflepuff, and then again with Slytherin, Hufflepuff is blanket. I accept everyone, and he chose a group of people who he wants to support at the expense of everybody. Shadow, light, indifferent, Tuatha. He doesn't care. If he can protect his homeland, he doesn't care who he screws over. So, that's the only reason why I wouldn't say Hufflepuff. That's the only reason why I wouldn't say that. And then the same thing, and I know I said before, the people you choose for Slytherin, he sacrifices them too, because he has his own internal, this is my thing, this is my...
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, that's the only... And then his, I'm fighting the shadow within the shadow to fight the light, and
I think we should...
He's the meat for the grinder, and that's why I say he's Gryffindor.
We should maybe go to a vote on this one. I feel like we're... No?
Does anyone have an argument that we haven't already said?
Well, I think...
So we'll come over here and then over there real quick, and then we'll do those two and then vote.
I have an argument for Ravenclaw.
Okay.
So
let him go first, and then we'll go with you.
Hear this one.
Okay, all right, you go ahead.
So I was just reading through this a month or so ago, and I was really impressed at his knowledge of ancient, where ancient cities were, and explaining to basically the whole company. 1,000 years ago there used to be a city here, but no one would ever know that today. And just his incredible knowledge of all things ancient that just kind of gets glossed over, and the majority of people that have that sort of character that he does in the books that kind of play the soldier role don't have that level of knowledge of creating land. But
I would just need more context for why he was
he may have learned that during a battle plan or something. It doesn't seem like he was seeking out that kind of knowledge independently.
I would say though there's enough individual different locations. It isn't just one spot that he knew for a battle. It was a lot of different places over a very large geographical.
That's a cool point, and I feel like we haven't really touched on yet that we hear the kind of monologues from Ingtar when we first meet him, and then you kind of realize later that the reason he made his decision is because he believed it was hopeless based on all of this evidence.
Good point.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's vote real quick so we can keep going through. What is he not? He's not a all right, Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw.
Sure, why not?
Slytherin. Gryffindor?
All right.
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Shiriam.
Feelings?
Do we know, like on this Shiriam's initial reason for yeah?
I mean, Shiriam's initial reason was because she wanted an easier path. She wanted to be lazy, but she didn't want to work for
Pay
it.
back her pay different.
Yeah. She wanted power, but she didn't want to have to work for it. She wanted to be given power and just be able to use.
That's not a Ravenclaw for sure.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
Should we go straight to vote?
I mean, does anyone have an argument for not
I feel like
Slytherin?
her presence on the Supreme Council.
Does anyone have an argument for not Slytherin for Shiriam?
Yeah.
I guess you could argue throughout the Harry Potter series that a lot of the Gryffindors are actually quite lazy and they're going to get by with their testing. And so she wanted an easier path. That sounds like a Gryffindor move to me. They want the glory.
Let's vote.
The glory, not the
All right, that's a good point. All right, let's vote real quick. Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw. Slytherin.
Oh, Slytherin, yeah.
Well, wait.
Yeah, okay.
Gryffindor. Not as many as okay.
Moghedien. Moghedien's my favorite because I get her at the end.
Yep.
I'm lucky enough to be I'm twice named in the last book. I'm Shannon, also the Soldan who gets Moghedien at the end.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Bayard. Prologue of the Memory of Life.
Butcher. Okay.
Analyst has a point.
Go.
Well, I mean, for Moghedien, I believe, she is sly. She is, working in the shadows. She's Slytherin.
She's the spider.
She's the spider.
Yeah.
So you talked about how, Slytherins didn't care if they were out, everyone, they were in the spotlight, everyone loves them, or if they were hidden away. And so I kind of think of it as like Gryffindor is like the king. Gryffindor is really out there, everyone loves them. And then we have the Slytherin, which is like the advisor, whatever, that secretly controls the king and tells them what to do. Our Ravenclaw is like the librarian, who's literally there because they like knowing stuff and just knowing stuff for the sake of knowing stuff. And then the Hufflepuff is like the cook, who like basically does everything for everyone.
Yeah.
So I feel like Shiriam is. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's Moghedien. Moghedien. I don't know how to pronounce it. And
no one does.
Yeah. Moghedien.
I mean, she's literally named the spider because she hides and she tries to control people. So
She's like a puppeteer pulling her strings. So Slytherin.
I would argue for Ravenclaw.
Okay.
I think that Moghedien is, first of all, she's the only Forsaken to survive the last battle. She is incredibly good at Tel'aran'rhiod, which takes an incredible amount of intelligence. She's probably better than Lanfear, in my opinion.
Does it take intelligence, or does it take I feel like Tel'aran'rhiod is more.
It takes cunning.
Willpower, sheer force of will.
That is part of it, but it's also understanding how it works and using it to your advantage. She's not necessarily going one-on-one in minds against
thinking
other
outside.
people. She's like hiding in the corners. Then that takes you have to outsmart people who are looking for
I always felt that was like thinking outside the box and like cunning more. So that was less than like research knowledge and like.
That's still Ravenclaw. Cunning and wit. Yep. I think there was one.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
I'm 100%.
Over here and then in the back over there, and then back up over here again.
I was going to say for Ravenclaw, she joins Lucerne's forces to attack from within. That seems more like Ravenclaw.
Really?
I mean, you could say that's cunning, but you could also say that
It's intelligence.
it takes intelligence to.
I mean, it takes intelligence to do a lot of stuff, but
not to be brave.
It's more. My always thing is the thing that I always go back for when we do these panels, because we've done a bunch of them, is why are they seeking their intelligence? What is the reason they're gaining their knowledge? And it's not for the people that I always argue against Ravenclaw for is they're never doing it for no reason. Where the majority of the Ravenclaws are like the majority of the Browns, where it's just like, I want to learn all the new things because I want to learn all the new things. Which is like most scientists nowadays. Like when they discover things, it's not because they're looking for the thing. It's just because I'm just going to keep learning things. Oh, look at what I found, and that's.
But yeah, once scientists discover something, they will apply it.
Then they do, and that is usually the Slytherin that applies it.
Right. So I think you're setting much too hard of a bar for Ravenclaw, because the second someone uses their intelligence, you're saying absolutely not.
No, well, I just the initial seeking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Cedric did the challenges.
Yeah.
Right? So, and Varen is out in the world, right? She applied this stuff. You know, it's not always for no reason. Like, I love seeking knowledge, but I find places to apply it. Sometimes I'll never use it, but, you know, I'm definitely Ravenclaw myself, but I will see instances like I search for it because maybe it will be useful and it's good to know.
So you're Ravenclaw.
Oh, I'm definitely Ravenclaw.
Okay. In the back, real quick.
So what you're saying, like I think the sorting, it doesn't just come down to your traits. Like there are brilliant non-Ravenclaws like Hermione.
Yeah.
It has a lot more to do with your motivations and your priorities. And in that case, like I think that the Dark One in particular chooses his Forsaken as people who are primarily driven by ambition to the exclusion of everything else. That thirst to prove himself and be on top.
Because he can manipulate it.
I disagree. I think the difference that he's choosing people who are selfish, not ambitious, and she's selfish through self-preservation, not through trying to achieve more power.
Yes, I definitely don't think that the bar for Ravenclaw is not hit because she is not smart enough. I think she's brilliant, but I think that she is much more manipulative and calculating and instrumentalizing of a person, and those are more Slytherin traits.
And she did run an intelligence organization. So, I mean, yes, in her modern day, when we meet her, she's very kind of solitary.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she ran, it's like, who would you say is running the CIA? You know what I mean? Like, that personality. You know? And so, yeah.
I mean, it could be either, yeah.
Slytherin-ish.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it could go either way. It just depends on their motivations and their end game, I guess. Over here, and then we'll do a vote.
And then you said something about her going to Teleron and she really knew this. But, I mean, then think about how Nineveh bested her in Teleron, and I don't know how to pronounce.
You're good. You're good. I gotcha. No one, again, it's a made-up language that no one really knows how to pronounce. You're good.
But then, like, I mean, Nineveh has been taught, like, 3 things by Blaine, who learns stuff from the wise ones, who learns stuff from the other wise ones. And so she knows, like, absolutely, I mean, like, probably nothing about the world of dreams.
Yeah. There you go.
She knows nothing about the world of dreams. And she just knows, like, how to, like, not kill herself. And so then,
Mogi. That's her new nickname. That's happening now. I'm making it a thing.
Maggedian, like, she just knows this because she's been there a lot and she practices, and she really stays in the shadows there, and she's not trying to bring up a fight. She sees Nineveh.
Actively avoiding them.
Yeah, and I mean, she sees Nineveh, and she's like about to capture Nineveh, and I mean, in sheer force of will, we can see Nineveh is stronger than her, but so that's why I think the intelligence, she's not going into looking into the world of dreams, how to control it, how do I make myself better at this. She just has a strong force of will, and she's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's vote. Hufflepuff. Nobody. Okay. Cool. Gryffindor. No one. All right. Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's okay.
Okay.
That was fun.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Slayer.
Does anyone have a feeling? Does anyone have feelings on Slayer?
Let's start with Luke and then move to Esau.
Yeah.
And now I
Can we refresh just for those of us who
Luke is the brother of Tigraine, who was sent into the Blight by philosophy. Isom is Lan's uncle, who
do we want to talk
grew up in the town.
Do we want to talk about them separately?
I mean, I don't really feel like we need to separate them because they never display separate characteristics. I mean, they're pretty much.
Oh, I disagree with that entirely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about each other a lot, but I feel like they're still very motivated for this in the same direction for the same reasons.
No. Isom is a hunter. He likes to hunt his prey, and he has no ambition whatsoever. Luke wants power. He wanted to channel. He wanted to be. They have totally different motivations. They agree on a lot of stuff, but they are different people with different motivations.
That kind of makes a good combo.
Okay.
What's that?
Luke in the Two Rivers versus Slayer, hunting wolves. They're
very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
I would hardcore agree with that because Luke wants power. He kind of wants power. He wants to be the guy.
He brags about having a claim to the throne of Andor. He's like
to the villagers.
To the villagers.
So he's a showboat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knock him off the block. Ism, on the other hand, just wants to survive. He is an absolute survivor.
I mean, he enjoys the hunt 100%. He enjoys killing things, that's for sure, and he likes to see like what he can best. Like he tests himself
absolutely,
and that's
against his prey. I feel like they're both Gryffindor now.
He wanted glory.
Who
was it? Isom? Who is the?
No, that was
I'd be thinking of a different character. I won't take us down the side road.
You know what? I want to say Gryffindor now, just based off of both of your arguments. I mean, they're both Gryffindor for separate reasons. I mean, Luke he's power hungry. He's a showboat. He wants the spotlight. He puts himself out there, and then Isom is more. I'm a hunter. Like he operates kind of in the shadows a little bit, but it's more. He wants to test himself against the strongest prey.
And that's where I think their attitudes and their goals.
Yeah,
line up
you
a
made
lot.
the perfect argument before. Yeah.
But they're clearly different people.
Yeah,
different motivation. But I would agree with you. I also think they're both Gryffindor for different reasons.
For different reasons, but both Gryffindor. Yeah.
I mean, we ended up with as both Slytherin for different reasons.
Does anyone have an argument for not Gryffindor? All right, so over here and then over there.
So I have a feeling that Lord Lord L is very Slytherin because he wants the power. He will do whatever he needs to do to get his power. He will use his claims to the throne to get the throne if needed. He would probably have killed Perrin if that would help him get his power. He has no allegiance to the light whatsoever because he will turn on the light in an instant if that helps him get power. That's a very Slytherin thing. And he could have people, but he just doesn't have people that he thinks are worthy or people that he wants to protect. And Isom Slayer is very, very Gryffindor, I feel like, because he just wants one thing. Like, he just wants to hunt and to be, good at hunting, that's probably the only thing he wants to do is to hunt.
Yeah, and kill things.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good, but I think I see him as a Gryffindor because I see Slayer, I want to say, as Gryffindor because I feel like he's under the control of some Forsaken throughout almost every time we see him. So he's like a hound, but he loves it.
A bounty hunter almost.
Like a hound, he loves doing what he does.
He loves. No.
Just don't take me off the hunt. That's all I ask.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There was.
and then
Okay.
I just want to say, I agree completely. Isom definitely Gryffindor, but Luke, Slytherin, all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, even the comments that Isom makes about Luke, when we see it from Isom's point of view, Luke just wants the glory, he wants the power. I mean, he shows up with these dead Trolloc heads, but you never see him actually fight.
I mean,
if he was a Gryffindor, he would be fighting. He would be staging some tournament or staging something where he would bring some Trollocs in so he could fight him. We don't actually ever see Luke do anything.
He wants he doesn't want the power. Like that's not going to give him any power. He wants the recognition, the spotlight, and the glory of all of that. Which
trophies.
Right, but
those
even talking to the other Forsaken, he's like, "Don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
I don't have to work for you." Like
that's a Gryffindor thing to me. Like the Slytherin is more. I want the power. I want to be able to kill those people. I want to be able to kill those Trollocs. I want to be able to do those things. I don't care if anyone. I don't care if anyone knows if I can.
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah, Luke is Gilderoy Lockhart. Yeah. He was a Ravenclaw by accident. I feel like he chose Ravenclaw.
But Luke is not brave. Luke is like he's the Rincewind of bravery. He's running out of.
Well, he doesn't need to.
He does nothing brave at all.
No, he doesn't need to be brave to be a Gryffindor. That's not the sole.
That's like the define. He doesn't even want to be seen. And he wants the
Neville Longbottom.
He just wants the. But he's not that either. He's
Wormtail.
Sniffling in a corner. He's grandiose and look at me, and he wants that recognition. That's what he wants. He has the power to go and save the world. He wants to use that power. He wants to be recognized by the Forsaken.
Yeah.
I mean, he's to me he's Draco Malfoy. He's the privileged
We're gonna vote because
little,
we gotta keep going.
I'm gonna live off my privileged self. I'm the
I got all
Prince of Andor,
Yeah.
right?
Got all the
I mean, that's what he is.
All right, so no Hufflepuffs, right? Okay.
First, which one are we doing? Luke?
All right, we
starting
split
with
them up. All right, okay. So Luke, again, Tigraine's cousin, brother or whatever. Yeah, not Hunter and Tel'aran'rhiod.
Killed Dwalden.
Prince of the Sword.
Slytherin. Ravenclaw.
Luke, right?
Yeah.
This is for Luke.
Hufflepuff. Gryffindor.
Really, Luke? Oh man. We have very different ideas on our topics.
And then Slayer.
Isam.
Any Hufflepuffs? No. Any Ravenclaws? Nope. All right. Slytherin. And then Gryffindor.
Cool.
Everybody. That's a unanimous one for now.
That's really interesting. Last one.
This is gonna be the last one.
Taim.
Yeah.
Just Bulgarian should be in as well. Yeah.
Oh, you put in Slytherin.
What? Oh. Thank you.
She's Ravenclaw.
I am Ravenclaw.
Yeah, she doesn't want Bulgarian with her.
No, she does.
I got her.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. Can we very quickly say Agenor is definitely Ravenclaw, and I'll just write it down?
Yeah.
Because he was just about... Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Taim.
Is there anyone else that we could do?
We do like a speed round to the bottom ones. So that
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. We could... Yeah.
You would, yeah, no, go, let's do that.
All right, we'll just... Yeah,
Yeah, let's do
take a
speed
vote
voting.
and see if there's anything... See what comes out. We'll start with Taim, Gryffindor.
Semi-out what?
Taim, Mazrim Taim.
Oh, we're voting already?
Yeah, because we have a minute and 30 seconds left, so let's get through a couple.
So again, Mazrim Taim, Gryffindor. Hufflepuff. That'd be hilarious. Ravenclaw.
Sorry.
I
thought she was going to say Slytherin next.
He's a jerk. We
Asmodean.
Ravenclaw.
Gryffindor.
100% Ravenclaw.
Hufflepuff. Ravenclaw. Slytherin.
No, I'm not going to Slytherin. I like Slytherin?
That's hard.
Okay.
That's hard.
Yeah,
Josh,
please.
go.
What do you want to say?
Okay, so Asmodean literally says that he wants to be with Rand because he has no other choice and that's the only way he's gonna get out of this alive. That is a Slytherin thing. He just changes sides because he's gonna stay alive because he changes sides. I mean, he just does this in a flash because you know what? This is the best thing for him.
I'm gonna change my vote.
And I haven't seen any.
He was.
And he's not intelligent. He's not a creator.
He's a true Slytherin.
Well, he's a creator. He created amazing music.
You vote. Yeah, she convinced me.
I would argue that he killed everyone who said he created bad music.
Well, he did do that. All right, next.
Joachim, Carradine, or Boars, Child of the Light. Gryffindor.
Oh man, I kind of want to see.
There's no way. Hufflepuff.
everything else, I don't know what to call it.
Slytherin? Okay. And Samael.
This is easy. This one's easy for me.
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin. Excellent.
Put everybody in Slytherin.
Congratulations.
It's hard not to with a dark friend character.
Yeah.
I try to stay as open-minded as possible.
Well, thank you guys.
That was fantastic.
That was fun.
I think it was right line. That was really fun.
Please submit feedback in the app and ideas for
Feedback on everything.
Feedback on this and ideas for next year. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Talking to Jody and her dad, Jordan, who I met at a discussion panel that Seth and I were on, and she really caught our attention with clever questions and really well-constructed arguments that I suppose wouldn't have been too surprising, but maybe I can have you introduce yourself now. Jody, if you just want to say hi.
Okay, hi, I'm Jody. I'm 12 and I've been coming to this convention for this is my 5th year.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to ask you too, because what makes that really remarkable is that you guys told me that you've read the Wheel of Time series 4 times.
Yes.
Something that takes most people a year.
She has, to be clear. I have only made it through one completely full read through, so she's several laps on me right now.
And maybe you can just tell me, how did you find the Wheel of Time?
I don't know. I think it was because I was 8 or 9 and I just started reading more and more and more. And I just got a Kindle. So, Dad had already purchased the ebooks, and I was looking through all the books that Dad had and was like, oh, look, this looks cool. And so I read the books, and then Dad was like, oh, she's reading the books faster than me. And then he finished up and finished the series before I could.
I don't think I had ever read anything even compared to the size of the first book of the Wheel of Time when I was 9. I was reading, but...
I think you finished, was it Harry Potter in a week?
Oh, it was 2 weeks. Because I was trying to go for a week, but then I had to take 3 days off going to the library, so I couldn't do a week.
That was really amazing. Maybe a favorite character?
Oh, I don't have a favorite character.
Too many.
There's too many characters in general, and then there's too many good characters in general, too. I do really like Tuan.
Yeah.
Tuan is a good, one of my favorite characters. Varen. Varen is one of my favorite characters.
I had some good arguments about Varen in the Sorting Hat panel.
Yeah, you were talking about that one beforehand. You were, preparing arguments in advance. You had thought a lot about Varen. I remember... when you first read that scene, I think you read that scene before I did, and you're like, "Oh, Dad, just wait, just wait."
Tea sipping scene,
the infamous tea scene, yeah.
That was very. I kind of refused to believe it at first. I was like, "No, nope, not happening." And then I was like, "Oh, it did happen," but I don't consider her to be that spoiler sensitive.
But double agent.
Yeah, exactly.
The podcast is all about spoilers.
It's about spoilers, so that's okay. Yeah. We're trying to be like that, in JordanCon, you don't know that everybody's finished the book or not. So in the conversations we've been having at lunch or whatever, people just trying to wait, who's where? You don't want to ruin favorite scenes because you remember how much you enjoyed it and you want them to enjoy it too.
Sure.
Yeah. Except for, my younger brother, who's like, ooh, wait, what happens with this character? And what about in this book? What happens then? And we're like, nope.
Don't mind spoilers.
Yeah, he does. He does like the spoilers. It's true. He enjoys it.
Can I ask you about Tuan? Why would she be one of your top picks? You don't have to have a very favorite.
she's just like really funny, kind of. Just like, I mean, I really like how she really believes what she believes in super strongly. Like, you know, if you had her use the oath rod if she could and just like swear to tell the truth, she would tell everything that she believes because she believes that's the truth. Like nothing is ever going to persuade her to change sides.
I like that. She's a strong character. She's one of my favorites as well. I particularly like, if RJ did this on purpose, I wonder sometimes, but she's a very small person. And she's one of the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah. Self-assured and confident and like an absolute power, and also just personal both, I think.
Yeah.
She's very annoyed that she's small, though.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one of the thoughts that goes through her head every day is, do I look like a child?
Yeah. That's true. And what's your favorite part of the con, like, of all of the tracks that you attend? I know there's a couple. This year, we're volunteering more, so we're going to less overall talks than we have in the past. But, like, what are the things that, like this we have to go to?
So there are 3 things every year that I really love: win, lose, or draw. This, whatever sorting hat there is, and then probably Dark Friend, which is organizing a Dark Friend. But
so they're like, tell them what Dark Friend is.
Sorry. Dark Friend is like a mafia version.
Werewolf or Mafia, like a group party game where different people are killing other people, and you're trying to get. There's the villagers versus the Dark Friends, basically.
That's cool. I didn't even know about that.
It's really fun.
So they do a bunch of random games in the game room, and that's one that they've kind of just organized in years past. And this year they weren't going to, and Jody found out that they weren't. She's like, all right, we're gonna organize one. So she's trying to tell everyone 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, come out to do a game of Dark Friend.
It's really fun. That was like one of the first things that might have been like the first event thing that I went to at JordanCon. And my first con.
Thing we did. We kind of wandered around. Yeah.
How many years have you guys been coming?
This is our 5th year.
5th. Wow.
I think. I feel like it's like my 3rd.
It's a little modest.
What is it about sorting hats in particular? Is it the Harry Potter kind of overlap, or is it just analyzing and really thinking about the characters?
I think it's partly analyzing characters and partly debating. Like, I really like just debating in general. We don't have a debate team at school. I wish we did, but in our gifted program, we do Socratic seminars where we're given a topic and we have to learn about it, and then we do a debate. And it's really, really fun, and that's kind of what the sorting hat is a little bit like. Because
I like that too, and lectures are boring for the most part. It's hard for me anyway to sit and listen to anyone monologue for more than 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's tough to stay focused, but when you have a big group that are all engaging each other, and it's just more fun for everyone.
Yeah.
I think so.
Panelists and people in the audience.
Yeah.
I'm also really happy that my younger brother is reading the series. He's on book 5 right now, I think. So he's still reading. He's 9. He's
about to turn 10, yeah.
Yeah, he's almost 10.
So he's a little bit behind her rate, but he actually started it earlier and then kind of took some time off, decided he didn't really want to read the series, was reading some other things. But he's kind of back into it too, so it's exciting.
He started back into it when I started back into it, because I'm reading and I'm talking to Dad, and he's like, ooh, let's check this out. And then he read it more, and he's like, can you get me the second book on Wheel of Time? I'm like, you're reading Wheel of Time? And then the youngest, who's 6, is also kind of reading it. My dad's reading him the chapter summaries for bedtime stories.
He gets bedtime stories, so we do some editing. I actually did with the older 2 as well when they were about 5 or 6. I would just kind of editorialize Eye of the World, chapter summaries. I'd pull up on my phone the wiki chapter summaries and kind of turn it more into a story instead of just a dry list of facts, and retell it as best as I remember to get him each hooked. And so now the younger ones and his read through that way.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to ask. It reminded me, I was having a thought the other day that I'm fall into the millennial category, but I feel like I'm kind of at the edge. So I grew up in a time pre-internet, and by the time I was a young man, there was everything was online. But I wonder about younger people who we have a lot of YouTube videos that are made for young folks with like flashing lights and like I hear even the criticism about millennials that we have like less attention span because we can like flip from app to app on our phone or whatever. There would be a remaining interest in novels like The Wheel of Time,
especially really long, epic
attention span.
And
can you speak to that at all?
So actually, when I read, I don't really completely focus. I'll focus better when I'm actually like kind of doing something that requires very little attention, something that I can just kind of do really quickly. I don't know, like solving a Rubik's Cube, which sounds kind of complicated, but I've memorized everything, so it's really easy now. I also kind of skim a lot. When there's parts that I think are kind of boring, I just skim. Oh, this looks good, and then I read that. I know that like there's a lot of kids my age at my school. I can't speak for like anyone else that are definitely not into books. I have a friend that's really into books. I have a couple friends, but most of the kids are not book. They just don't like them. They don't like reading in general, which is very sad for me. But I'm trying to get my other friends into Wheel of Time.
Yeah, I would like to know that too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm 39. Is that how old I am now? Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm thinking. I grew up. I had access to the internet pretty early, so in some ways, I was on bulletin boards and online communities before it was the internet per se. So I had
before it was the internet.
Exactly, sort of like virtual millennial. Though I'm not really close to it in terms of age, but. It's interesting, like at work I've got a couple of friends who have tried to get into it, and I actually have a lot of coworkers that read a lot of science fiction and fantasy, a lot of like geeks and programmers and kind of like sort of part of that crowd, but a lot of them actually do like audiobooks now too, which is weird to me because it takes even longer, but it's also something you can do while driving and that you can just sort of kind of keep in the background. So
I still haven't gotten into it. But,
I can't do it either, yeah.
I just feel like it's cheating.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't be able to do that because like I wouldn't be able to focus. When I'm reading, and also just hearing the sounds, like sometimes I'll just kind of like slip out and I'm like forget what someone just said to me. I'm like, wait, what? And that's kind of hard when you're listening to an audiobook.
You gotta rewind and catch up, yeah.
It's just easier for me to read what I see and then I can go back and like, oh wait, that's really cool. Like it's foreshadowing or something.
Yeah.
And I think reading too, for me anyway, like I skim, I can skip around, I can reread a section really more easily, and so like that, and I can just do it faster. Like audiobooks are a lot slower than a quick reader. And so I get impatient. I want to know what happens. In fact, I've actually started some audiobooks that I finished the ebook in the Dead Tree form because I was like, no, it's going too slow, and I really want to I want to know what's going to happen faster. So
sleep is good, books are better.
Thank you for listening to the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. Rate us in the Apple Podcast app or support us on Patreon. Is that good enough?